They would cross oceans of doubt, fight shadows of fear, and risk the world itself just to feel your heartbeat again. Even if the sky falls, even if the earth trembles, they'd brave it all to hold you like nothing else mattered. When love runs deep, consequences become meaningless. They'll risk everything just to be near the warmth of your arms. Nothing else compares to the pull of your soul. They would risk the storm just to be wrapped in your embrace. Every fear, every scar, every risk fades the moment they imagine holding you close again. They'd walk through fire and cross endless nights just for one chance to cradle you once more. Love like that ignores warnings, ignores reason. They would risk it all for a single heartbeat with you. No distance, no threat, no obstacle can stop them. The thought of holding you is worth every danger. Every danger seems small when measured against the warmth of your arms. They would risk it all without hesitation. They'd risk ridicule, failure, and heartbreak itself just to see your face and hold you close once again. Nothing on earth is too great a risk when the reward is the comfort of your embrace. Even the world's fiercest storms couldn't deter them. They'd risk everything for one last moment in your arms. No. The world kiss becomes irrelevant when love whispers, hold her, hold him. Risk it all. They'd sacrifice safety, certainty, and peace itself just to feel your warmth wrapped around them once more. Love isn't cautious. It's reckless, unafraid, and willing to risk everything for the closeness of your soul. Even time itself would not deter them. They'd risk years, decades, or a lifetime just to hold you again. They'd walk through shadows, climb mountains, or fight against fate itself just to feel the life in your arms. Every heartbeat away from you is a risk they'll willingly take because the reward is being with you again. They'd risk shame, danger, and regret because the warmth of your embrace outweighs all consequences. Even the world's chaos would bow to love. They'd risk it all to hold you like nothing else exists. Every fear is a faint whisper against the roar of wanting you. They'd risk it all without a second thought. The thought of losing you terrifies them, yet it's worth every risk just to hold you again. They'd cross forbidden paths, defy warnings, and brave storms because holding you is worth any cost. Every boundary fades when love calls. They would risk everything just to be close to you again. They'd risk regret, heartbreak, and ruin itself just for the peace of holding you in their arms. Even when danger surrounds, their heart chooses one thing: holding you, no matter the cost. They'd risk everything the world tells them to protect, just for the truth of your embrace. Every fear is powerless before love. They'd risk it all to feel your heartbeat against theirs again. Silence, even emptiness, even despair couldn't stop them. They'd risk it all for one embrace. They'd risk everything forbidden, everything dangerous, everything painful, just to see your eyes and hold you close. They'd defy every warning, endure every pain, and risk every loss just for a moment in your arms. Love like this doesn't bargain, it charges forward, risking all for the chance to hold you again. They'd risk heartbreak, failure, and chaos itself because the warmth of your embrace is priceless. Every doubt, every fear, every consequence fades when they imagine holding you in their arms. They'd risk storms, darkness, and endless nights just for one heartbeat of being with you again. Every what if becomes meaningless when the reward is the safety of holding you close. They'd risk the world because nothing compares to the feeling of your arms around them. Even if the universe pushes back, even if every path is blocked, they'd risk it all to hold you. They'd risk fear, shame, and judgment just for the warmth and certainty of your embrace. Every danger becomes insignificant when measured against the need to hold you in their arms. They'd risk everything, even themselves, for one chance to see your face and hold you close again. No warning, no barrier, no fear is strong enough to keep them from holding you once more. Every hesitation melts when they itch air, with the uncomfort and closeness of being in your arms. They'd risk heartbreak and despair, danger and loss, because holding you is worth every price. Every risk, every sacrifice, every danger is trivial when love calls for one last embrace. They'd walk through chaos, storms, and pain just for the peace of holding you close again. Even the world's fiercest battles seem small compared to the desire to hold you in their arms. Every danger seems insignificant when measured against the warmth of your love and embrace. They'd risk it all, defy all reason, and face all fears just to hold you once more. Even if the world punishes them, they'd risk it all just to feel the warmth of your embrace. They'd cross deserts of doubt and oceans of fear for the simple certainty of holding you. Every risk, every sacrifice, every danger is worth it when the reward is your arms. Even the fiercest storms and darkest nights can't stop them from reaching for your embrace. They'd risk everything they know, everything they love, everything they fear, just to hold you again. Every obstacle becomes trivial when the heart longs to feel the safety of your arms. They'd face shadows, danger, and uncertainty because your embrace is worth more than any cost. Nothing compares to the pull of your presence. They'd risk all to be with you once more. Even if the world fights them, they'd risk everything for the certainty of your embrace. They'd risk fear, heartbreak, and loss just for one heartbeat of closeness with you. Every danger pales in the light of wanting to hold you in their arms again. They'd defy fate, risk judgment, and brave every storm just to feel your heartbeat. Even if the path is perilous, they'd risk everything to be wrapped in your arms. They'd risk heartbreak and despair for one moment where the world disappears and only you remain. Every fear, every barrier, every warning is meaningless when the thought of holding you exists. They'd walk through fire, cross endless nights, and face every shadow for your embrace. Even if consequences loom, they'd risk it all just to feel your warmth once more. They'd risk everything the world says matters because nothing compares to holding you close. Every obstacle fades when the heart knows it must risk all for your presence. They'd risk chaos, danger, and uncertainty for one heartbeat in the safety of your arms. Even the universe's fiercest storms cannot deter them. They'd risk it all for you. They'd risk fear, judgment, and loss itself because the warmth of your embrace is priceless. Every hesitation disappears when love calls. They'd risk everything to hold you again. They'd defy warnings, face shadows, and risk the unknown just to be with you once more. Even if the world turns against them, they'd risk it all for one heartbeat with you. They'd risk heartbreak, chaos, and pain for the one thing worth everything, their embrace with you. Every danger seems small when weighed against the joy of holding you close. They'd risk everything, walk through every shadow, and endure every fear to feel your arms. Even if fate conspires, even if the world says no, they'd risk it all for you. They'd risk every consequence, every warning, every barrier for the closeness of your embrace. Every fear dissolves in the desire to hold you. They'd risk everything to feel your heartbeat. They'd face the impossible, brave every storm, and risk all just to hold you close. Even the darkest night cannot stop them. They'd risk everything to be in your arms again. They'd risk silence, shame, and despair for one moment where the world fades and only you remain. Every obstacle becomes meaningless when the goal is holding you in their arms once more. They'd risk heartbreak, danger, and uncertainty because the thought of you outweighs all else. Even if the world warns them, they'd risk everything for the certainty of your embrace. They'd cross impossible distances, defying every rule, and risk all to hold you close again. Every danger, every fear, every consequence is worth it for the warmth of your arms. They'd risk everything that matters, everything they cherish, everything they fear, just to hold you. Even if the universe conspires against them, they'd risk it all for one heartbeat of closeness. They'd risk storms, chaos, and shadows because holding you makes every fear vanish. Every barrier fades in the light of love. They'd risk everything for the safety of your arms. They'd risk heartbreak, judgment, and loss itself for one moment where only you exist. Even the harshest warnings cannot stop them. They'd risk it all just to hold you close. They'd defy fate, face danger, and risk everything for the comfort of your embrace. Every fear, every hesitation, every obstacle becomes insignificant when the heart longs for you. They'd risk everything, endure every shadow, and brave every storm just to hold you again. Even if consequences loom, even if danger surrounds, they'd risk it all for the warmth of your arms. They'd risk the impossible, defying warnings, and face uncertainty for one heartbeat in your embrace. Every danger fades when love calls. They'd risk everything for the certainty of holding you. They'd risk silence, fear, and judgment because nothing compares to the comfort of your arms. Even if the world collapses, they'd risk it all just to feel your heartbeat against theirs. They'd face every shadow, every storm, and every obstacle for one moment in your arms. Every risk is trivial when the reward is the warmth and love of your embrace. They'd cross broken roads and shattered dreams because nothing is more precious than holding you once more. They'd risk the darkest nights and fiercest storms for the warmth that only your arms can give. Every obstacle, every fear, every warning fades when the thought of holding you ignites their soul. They'd risk shame, rejection, and despair just for a moment where time stops in your arms. Nothing else matters. When love calls so loudly, they'd risk it all just to be with you again. Even if fate turns against them, they'd risk everything to see your face and feel your heartbeat. They'd brave uncertainty, danger, and sorrow just to taste the comfort of your arms once more. Every risk feels small when the reward is the safety of holding you in their arms. They'd face every storm and shadow because the thought of holding you makes every fear vanish. Even the harshest consequences cannot deter them from risking everything for one moment with you. They'd risk heartbreak, loss, and regret because nothing compares to the solace of your embrace. Every fear, every doubt is meaningless when love pushes them toward your arms. They'd risk everything they've built, everything they've hoped for just to feel your presence again. Even if the world collapses, they'd risk it all for a heartbeat of closeness with you. They'd cross impossible distances, climb the highest walls, fight every shadow for the warmth of your arms. No danger, no warning, no consequence can stop them from seeking the comfort of your embrace. They'd risk shame, pain, and loss because the thought of holding you outweighs every cost. Every storm, every danger, every barrier becomes insignificant when the goal is holding you again. They'd risk all the things that matter just for the one thing that matters most, you. Even when the world says, stop, love dares then to risk everything for the closeness of your arms. They'd risk heartbreak, judgment, and fear itself just for one more taste of being with you. Every obstacle becomes small when measured against the longing to hold you once more. They'd defy every rule, face every danger, and risk everything to be in your embrace again. Nothing is too great a risk when the prize is the warmth and love of your arms. Even the darkest nights cannot deter them from risking everything to hold you again. They'd risk rejection, loss, and despair because your embrace makes every fear meaningless. Every warning fades when the heart demands it. They'd risk it all to be with you once more. They'd risk it all, face every fear, and defy every obstacle just to hold you close. Even when consequences loom large, the thought of holding you pushes them to risk everything. They'd cross forbidden paths and brave every storm for the safety and warmth of your arms. Every danger becomes trivial when love calls for one final embrace with you. They'd risk everything for the one thing they cannot live without, the comfort of your presence. Even the cruelest fate cannot stop them from risking all to hold you again. They'd walk through darkness, face every danger, and risk everything just to see you smile again. Every fear, every barrier dissolves in the thought of holding you close once more. They'd risk heartbreak, chaos, and ruin itself just for the simple joy of your embrace. They'd risk silence, shame, and uncertainty because holding you makes all the pain worthwhile. Even if the world fights against them, they'd risk it all to feel your love again. They'd brave storms, shadows, and nights of doubt for the one certainty, the safety of your arms. Every warning fades when love whispers, go, risk it, hold them. They'd risk every fear and consequence for the truth of feeling your heartbeat against theirs. Nothing else compares. Nothing else compares. They'd risk all the world's chaos just for one moment in your embrace. They'd face storms, cross oceans, and defy fate itself for the warmth of your arms again. Every fear, every shadow, every consequence pales in the light of holding you close. They'd risk everything they love, everything they fear, everything they know, for one embrace with you. Even the harshest nights cannot stop them. They'd risk it all for the comfort of your arms. They'd risk every warning, every heartbreak, every danger just to feel the safety of your embrace. Nothing in the world matters more. They'd risk everything for one heartbeat of being with you. They'd risk storms, pain, and fear itself, because your arms are the only place they belong. Every barrier, every consequence, every danger becomes meaningless when love calls for your embrace. They'd risk it all, face every shadow, and challenge every rule just to hold you close.